Warning! The following fanfic reading is for mature audiences only. It contains profanity and crude humor. Viewers' discretion is advised. Anyway, without any further ado, enjoy the movie in all of its wacky, zany glory. In the Castle of Friendship, Twilight Sparkle was in the library with her student, Starlight Glimmer, both of whom were casually reading through Sunset Shimmer's dimensional journal.
I still can't believe there's a whole different world out there with such a drastic evolutionary difference.
Starlight exclaimed as the book glowed once more and the newest text became visible.
Yeah, Sunset's reports on Earth are always so interesting.
Twilight said as she looked through the book.
The best ones are about the holidays there.
What's so different about them from our own? I think you mentioned once that they're similar.
Some of them are. Like how Nightmare Night for us is Halloween for them, or how Hearts and Hooves Day is St. Valentine's Day in their world, and our Heartstrings Eve is their Christmas, or Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa.
Twilight explained as she turned the page.
Though a few of them are entirely different or don't exist at all. For example, Sunset checked and couldn't find any holiday close to our summer sun celebration and winter wrap-up, and our world doesn't have any St. Patrick's Day or April Fool's Day.
Wait, April Fool's Day? That sounds like a very weird holiday.
Oh, trust me, it is. Apparently, it's celebrated every year on the 1st of April by playing practical jokes on someone and shouting, "April Fools!" when they fall victim to it.
She explained as she wrote down a quick message before closing the book.
Huh, I'm kind of surprised we don't have a holiday like that.
Starlight said as they made their way out of the library.
Considering we live in a world where Pinkie Pie and Discord exist, I think that's more than enough.
Twilight retorted, causing Starlight to laugh.
Yeah, you got a point.
However, above them, that very being, Discord, not Pinkie Pie, though that wouldn't exactly be surprising, was listening in on them, and was rather upset at the news he was hearing. A holiday all about pranking, and it didn't exist in the world? What was the multiverse coming to? But then, an idea hit him. Why just have a holiday when you can have a big tourney instead? Wouldn't that be more fun? A devious chuckle echoed through the empty library as the Chaos Spirit teleported away, intent on putting his plans into motion. The next day, Twilight groaned as she woke up to the sound of someone banging on her bedroom door. She asked as she got up and didn't even bother trying to make herself look impressive. Still tired as she and Starlight did some late-night studying.
This better be good.
Twi? Spike called out from the other side. Pinkie and Rainbow are up to something weird.
Why couldn't they just wait till noon?
Twilight groaned as she opened the door.
And over to wherever they're doing whatever with Starlight, and make sure nothing too bizarre happens. I'll be there shortly.
She told Spike before teleporting to the bathroom. She needed a shower. Badly. Soon after freshening up, Twilight took off from the balcony of her castle, trying to search for whatever weird shenanigans Pinkie and RD were up to. All in all, it seems like another normal yet beautiful day. The birds were singing, Celestia's sun shined brightly, the smell of the cake's freshly baked sweets wafted through the air. Rainbow Dash was snoozing atop a cloud while Pinkie Pie was hopping around that giant present right outside Town Hall. Wait, what? The princess did a double take, checking to make sure she wasn't seeing things. Unfortunately, she wasn't. Right in front of Town Hall was indeed a giant present, about the size of her own library. Sighing, she soared towards the spectacle as other ponies began to gather around, some excited, thinking Pinkie was planning some sort of special party, some nervous, thinking it was some sort of prank. It was that very thought that prompted Twilight to question Rainbow first as she landed on the cloud she was napping on. "I'm already awake," Rainbow stated, just as Twilight opened her mouth. "Let me guess. You want to know what that giant present is for, right?" The princess blinked, but simply nodded. Rainbow opened her eyes and started stretching as she got up. Well, since you're here, I guess we can start. Yo, Pinkie! The Pegasus called out, getting the party pony's attention. Twilight's here! Tell Discord to get ready!
Wait, Discord?
Twilight repeated, a sense of dread now spreading through her mind as Pinkie pushed the side of the present open like a door and hopped in as it closed behind her. Any idea what's going on? Spike asked as Twilight landed next to him and Starlight. However, before she could answer, the present started to shake as it started to expand outwards. Every pony took several steps back as it continued to swell and rumble. The town's ponies braced themselves for the worst. Only for it to simply deflate like a balloon, revealing what appeared to be a stage with a small booth, although it was a bit longer and more floaty than a normal booth. Well, that was anticlimactic. Talk about disappointing, Lyra mumbled, with a few ponies nodding in agreement. On stage, Discord popped out of the floor wearing a mariachi hat, a purple leather jacket covered in green polka dots with duck shoes, carrying a bow and arrow with a pie attached to the end. Behind him, Pinkie hopped out wearing a jester costume.
Welcome, every pony! I have gathered you all here for this most glorious occasion.
To tell us your fashion sense finally died?
Rarity called out, getting a few laughs from the audience, including Twilight herself.
Joke's on you. I never had any to begin with.
Discord countered, getting more laughs from the ponies.
But in all seriousness, let's face it, none of you are going to take this seriously. I've decided to bestow upon Ponyville a unique, one-of-a-kind honor. Drumroll, please.
He stated, gesturing to Pinkie, who inhaled deeply, causing her belly to expand. Rainbow Dash landed in front of her and started drumming her belly.
I, Discord, have decided to create an extra special holiday to mark the beginning of April, which I have named
The drum roll stopped as Pinkie exhaled, flopping onto the floor.
April Fool's Day!
He proudly proclaimed as he quickly shot his pie arrow into the sky, where it exploded into a beautiful fireworks display. A hoof raised up from the crowd.
Excuse me?
Yes, the cute shy pony with the pink mane has a question.
Discord asked while checking his nails. Everyone turned to Fluttershy, who squeaked upon becoming the center of attention.
Well, I was just wondering what kind of holiday this is. Do we give each other gifts?
Well, if my gifts mean pool and my gifts mean pranks, then yes!
Pinkie answered, hopping on Discord's head.
You see, this holiday is...
One giant breakfast!
Rainbow shouted as she soared over the ponies.
Basically speaking, the entire objective of this holiday is to pull off the most hilarious,
perfectly timed!
well planned out,
An all-around amazing prank of all time!
Discord finished as he teleported onto one of the clouds.
I have a question. How exactly would any pony be able to tell how good the prank is?
Oh, that's simple.
Discord replied before snapping his fingers. There was a bright flash of light on the left hoof of every pony, revealing a watch in the shape of a balloon with a question and exclamation point next to the screen.
This watch is meant to keep track of the pranks you pull off and will give you points based on how good the prank is.
That seems kinda cheap.
and tacky.
Hey, I was pressed for time. Cut me some slack.
The Chaos Spirit retorted before teleporting back to the stage.
Now then, on to the rules. Pinkie, Rainbow Dash, would you kindly?
Already on it!
The party pony said as she pulled a scroll out from her mane.
Rule number 1. You can't use the same prank twice, nor can you target the exact same pony. Rule number 2. You get extra points for pranking some pony with more points than you.
Rule number 3. There are no rules after rule number 2.
Rainbow shouted with excitement. Then Pinkie whispered something to her ear. She then gave the crowd an embarrassed smile.
Sorry. I meant you also can't kill or severely injure any pony. And every prank must be in good taste. But after those 3, there are no rules.
Now hold on.
Another voice called out. Twilight turned to see Applejack making her way to the front of the crowd.
In what way is this contest fair? Especially since the 3 of you will be in it.
She asked, getting a few mumbles of agreement from the crowd.
Oh dear, Applejack. Since we'd obviously win instantly, we're not participating. Instead, we're gonna be the judges.
Discord said as he snapped his fingers. Almost instantly, the 3 of them were sitting in the booth wearing what looked like business suits.
That's right. I'll be the one ranking the pranks on their execution, setup, and just how funny they are. And the winner will be crowned the Prankster Queen.
Or king if the winner's a stallion.
Face it, Pinkie, it's gonna be Queen. 3/4 of Equestria are mares.
Discord said as he made the crown.
What if we don't participate? I mean, surely there must be certain ponies who don't want to be a part of this.
Well, they don't have to participate. They'll just get pranked without any satisfaction of getting back at who did it because they didn't participate.
That hardly seems fair.
Twilight mumbled as she noticed a few ponies in the audience glancing at each other suspiciously.
If life were fair, I'd be queen of Equestria right now.
Pinkie retorted as she pulled an oversized megaphone out of her mane.
Alright then, every pony, let's get started. On your marks, get set.
Every pony in the audience became tense, each one of them looking around nervously to make sure they fled before they became a prank victim.
Get out of here.
That was such a surprise that they just casually went about their day. Discord looked upset that they weren't zipping away like a demon from Tartarus. But hey, they'll be pranked. They'll all be pranked soon enough. About an hour after the announcement, Derpy Hooves made her way towards Sugarcube Corner. The smell of sweets and delicious baked goods wafting through the air. She was so distracted that she didn't notice a certain orange Pegasus sneaking into the window.
Hey there, Mr. and Mrs. Cake.
She smiled as she placed 4 bits on the counter.
I'm here for the usual.
Oh, hey, Derpy. Of course. 2 bran muffins coming right up.
Derpy licked her lips as she eagerly awaited her muffins, and was surprised when Mrs. Cake brought back 4 instead of the usual 2.
What's going on here?
Oh, it's very simple, Derpy. In the spirit of the new holiday, we decided to add a little challenge for anyone who buys from us.
You see,
Mrs. Cake continued, gesturing to the 4 muffins.
we've baked some chili powder into 3 of the muffins.
She explained, before placing a bag holding 3 more muffins on the counter.
If you can guess which one, you get 4 muffins for the price of 2.
What? But that's so mean.
Derpy said, with tears in her eyes.
I never did anything wrong to you. Why are you being so painful?
Derpy, calm down. It's only a game.
Mrs. Cake said, trying to calm down the weeping Pegasus.
But it's my food. I love muffins.
Derpy cried with tears in her eyes.
Oh, well.
Mrs. Cake just sighed and pushed the one good muffin towards her, only for Derpy to snap back to happy and laugh evilly.
You fool! I got you! I so got you!
The couple blinked.
What? But you just...
April Fools!
She yelled with glee and evilness as she snatched the bag and flew off. However, as she ate them, Mr. and Mrs. Cake smirked at each other. Suddenly, Derpy flew back into the bakery, screaming and fanning her mouth.
Ah! Hot!
Something wrong?
You said there was no chili powder in these!
There isn't. Those have jalapeno peppers.
Mrs. Cake giggled as Derpy bolted towards the bathroom.
Water!
On the way back from the announcement area, Snips and Snails were arguing over exactly which prank they should pull.
I'm telling you, Snails, using a catapult would be a lot more practical than a giant slingshot!
The catapult makes too much noise, though, Snips. It'd take too long to reload anyways.
Yeah, but you can load more into it, not to mention... Snails? Snails! Where the fuck are you?
The young unicorn looked around to see that his tall friend had wandered off. Searching around, he realized that he was standing under a tree looking at a sign that read, "Important message, this way," with an arrow pointing left.
Well, it's important. Okay, it seems promising. I mean, signs never lie, so it must be that way. Snails, wait up!
Snip said, as he hurried over to his friend as fast as he could. And they continued on past another sign that read, "Important message, next sign," to which they quickly ran towards the very next tree, which appeared to have a white X painted on the ground beneath it, and a sign right in front of it that read, "Important message, don't look up."
Well, it says don't look up.
Well, yeah, but it makes me curious why, though.
I don't know, but maybe we shouldn't. But then again, I'm curious too.
Yeah, right? Okay, we'll just quickly look up.
Okay, I mean, I don't see the issue with that.
Reverse psychology proved to be their undoing as they looked up, only to scream in terror as a giant glob of tree sap rained down upon them.
April Fools!
Sweetie Belle snickered as she bumped toast with Scootaloo.
It's like shooting a fish in a barrel! It's that moment of dawning comprehension that I live for.
Aw, man!
Snails groaned as he looked at his syrup-covered body.
This sucks!
I wouldn't say that just yet.
Scootaloo snacked before holding a large pillow over her head.
Time for some pony else to be the chicken for once.
She said before ripping open the pillow. Before the two could flee, dozens of felt feathers covered up the already sticky coats.
Oh, come on! I just showered!
Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Vinyl entered her two-toned house with a nefarious smirk on her face. Oh, Octy, I got a present for you.
Upstairs, darling. I'm in the shower.
Well, I can work with that, Vinyl whispered to herself as she sneaked upstairs. Now then, hope you're taking a cold shower.
Actually, no. It's quite warm.
Octavia answered as she continued to wash her mane, completely oblivious to Vinyl's actions.
Oh, you wouldn't believe this. The second I leave the grocery store, some fool glues a rainbow afro onto my mane.
Ouch! Sorry to hear that, Vinyl said with a smile as she got close to the toilet.
I'm just glad I got home fast enough to wash it all out,
she replied as she continued to wash herself off.
Now then, what is it you wanted to give me?
Oh, nothing. Just this! Vinyl yelled as she flushed the toilet and ran off. April Fools!
What the?
Octavia screamed as she was drenching in freezing cold water.
Vinyl Melody Scratch! I'm going to kill you!
All right, this was a riveting first few pranks.
Discord commented as he was filing his claws with a porcupine.
Pinkie, why don't you give out the first few points?
Sure thing, Dizzy.
Pinkie said with a big smile on her face as a large screen popped up behind the three judges. Thunderlane, 5. Lyra and Bonbon, 10. Vinyl Scratch, 15. Mr. and Mrs. Cake, 20. Derpy Hooves, 15. Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo, 25.
Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle have such high numbers this early? My, Rainbow, you taught the kid one well.
Discord said as fireworks erupted around Rainbow. The rainbow-maned Pegasus blushed a little. Well, what can I say? I taught her everything she knows. But enough about how awesome a mentor I am. Let's see how the last Crusader is doing over at Sweet Applejack.
Indeed. I've heard very good things about her pranking plan.
Discord smiled as he snapped his fingers and instantly teleported the three of them to the farm and prepared some sodas.
This way, big sis!
Applebloom shouted as she led Applejack towards the orchard.
All right, Bloom,
Applejack said with a roll of her eyes as she followed her little sister.
You're really excited, ain't you?
Here it is!
The former Blinkflink happily proclaimed as they stopped in front of one of the trees. This one particular, however, had its apples covered in rainbows as opposed to the usual red or green.
See? The sap apples have come early!
Well, butter my biscuit,
Applejack exclaimed in excitement as she ran towards the tree, unaware that her sister had taken a few steps back. Applejack turned around and kicked the tree as hard as she could, shaking the apples loose and causing them all to fall, along with several water balloons that had been tied to the branches. The farm pony screamed as she was drenched in cold water.
April Fools!
Appleboom laughed as she held her sides.
I'm sorry, sis. But this was too priceless not to do.
Applejack growled as she watched some of the zap apples roll into the puddle of water around her, causing the paint to wash off, revealing them to be normal apples.
Why, you sneaky little...
The elder sister snapped, and she started chasing her sister throughout the orchard.
Wait till I get my hooves on you!
Oh, come on, AJ. It was just a simple prank.
Applebloom shouted at her sister as she ran. Back in Ponyville, or more specifically, the park, Bonbon snuck out from under a bush and quickly leaped into a nearby tree. She poked her head out and looked around before sliding down the trunk and diving into a nearby lake. She swam under the surface to the other side and smoothly pulled herself into another bush. Looking around, she finally saw her target, Fluttershy. There she was, sitting on the bench and feeding her animal friends without a care in the world. This was the perfect opportunity. This prank was perfect for a pony like her. She'd get the points she needed to win this. She poked her head out of the bush and looked around. Right on cue, her best friend Lyra entered the park. The mint green unicorn glanced at her and winked. Bonbon nodded with a malicious smile. There was the signal. The moment was now. She tiptoed out of the bushes, snuck behind the bench, pulled out the instrument for prank, and placed a wet paint sign on the bench right next to her. Holding back a snicker, she sunk back into the bushes as Lyra approached the Pegasus. Why, hello, Fluttershy.
Oh, hi, Lyra. What are you doing? You know that there are a lot of pranksters out there now, right?
Of course, though they seem to be avoiding the park for some reason, Lyra explained as she glanced at Bonbon's bush. Wait, Fluttershy, why are you sitting on that bench?
What do you mean?
Fluttershy yelped as she leaped up. It's wet! Didn't you see the wet paint sign? Fluttershy looked and saw, indeed, that there was a wet paint sign next to her bench.
Oh no!
The Shy Mary yelped before flying up and checking her backside, only to realize there wasn't a speck of paint on her.
What the?
April Fools! Lyra giggled as Bonbon leaped out of the bushes.
Oh, that was good!
The two best friends laughed their asses off as they wiped tears from each other's eyes. Hey! You know it was just a joke, right?
Of course I do,
she replied with a gentle smile as her animal friends crowded around her.
After all, it's all good fun.
As the two mares got up, Fluttershy handed one of her animals to Bonbon.
But as long as we're here, why not play with some of my friends?
Sure.
Bonbon said with a chuckle as she took the animal into her care.
Which one is it?
It was then they noticed that Fluttershy had taken several steps away from the two before replying,
He's a skunk! Say hi, Stinky!
At that moment, the skunk lifted its tail and started spraying them with its stink pheromones.
Ew!
Bonbon groaned and clenched teeth.
April Fools!
Fluttershy giggled as the two ran out of the park screaming.
My nostrils are burning!
Lyra shouted as she ran off, numerous ponies covering their noses as they passed by.
Lesson 1. Don't fuck with Fluttershy.
She said to herself with a smile on her face as she trotted off with a bit more swagger to her step, her animal friends loyally following her. Back at the Castle of Friendship, Twilight was trotting through the halls, keeping her eyes open for any possible pranks after the announcement Spike had opted to stay by Rarity's side in case someone saw her as an easy target, despite her reassurance that she could take care of herself.
Alright, how do I handle this?
Twilight whispered to herself. However, she soon passed by a slightly open door.
I know we haven't seen each other much.
A nervous yet familiar voice said, getting her attention.
But there's something that I need to get off my chest.
Twilight peeked into the room, and sure enough, inside was none other than Starlight's old, full-hood friend, Sunburst.
For the longest time, I've been in love with you. I just never had the courage to say anything.
The princess smiled, realizing that this meant he and Starlight finally managed to reconnect.
So, I wanted to ask, will you be my special sun pony?
Oh, Sunburst. I've been waiting for you to say that for the longest time.
Twilight blinked when she realized that it was a male voice replying to him. Confused, she opened the door a little further to see.
Flash Sentry? What? What in the... But... what?
Twilight shouted as she saw her crush madly kissing Sunburst. Upon hearing the baffled princess, the two stallions broke the kiss and turned towards her.
Oh, hey, Twilight. Got any lubricated condoms?
Twilight promptly fainted on the spot.
April Fools!
The two stallions shouted as they burst out laughing. A magical glow surrounded them. Sunburst and Flash Sentry disappeared, revealing Trixie and Starlight in their respective places.
Oh man, that was hilarious!
Trixie hollered, holding out to Starlight for support.
Yeah, it was. Twilight?
Starlight asked as she saw her teacher on the ground, not moving an inch.
Are you okay?
Twilight slowly regained consciousness and stared at the two mares. Slowly putting two and two together, her right eye twitched.
Oh, real funny, you two. I'll bet you think you're so clever. Huh.
She scoffed as she gave them a livid glare.
Well, you fell for it.
Starlight said as she covered her mouth to stifle a chuckle.
I mean, wow, did you fall for that?
However, as they continued to laugh, Twilight's mane and tail were suddenly enveloped in a raging inferno as she glared at the two unicorns.
You two thought that was funny, huh?
She said with a subdued rage that would burn down entire force.
You thought that was just so cute, didn't you?
Now, calm down, Twilight.
Trixie stuttered as she backed away in fear.
It was only a simple prank, right, Starlight?
However, as the show mare turned to her friend for support, in her place was nothing but a sign with an arrow pointing at her that read, "Her idea."
Starlight, you traitor!
Twilight scoffed before slowly approaching Trixie.
And now that only leaves you. I have a very special yet ironic punishment for your little part in this prank.
Okay, you know it was just her idea, and she threatened to prank me!
Trixie said before immediately trying to run away. However, the princess was not having any of that and immediately trapped her in a bubble.
Nice try.
Oh, Celestia, help me!
Outside the castle, the 3 judges were currently checking the scoreboard. Octavia, 5. Lyra and Bonbon, 15. Twilight Sparkle, 17. Applebloom, 20. Vinyl Scratch, 25. Fluttershy, 29. Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon, 30. Trixie and Starlight Glimmer, 35.
I bet Twilight wins,
Rainbow said, prompting the other 2 to look at her with serious disappointment.
Oh, of course you root for the main player!
Discord scoffed as he took a sip from his mango. Pinkie smirked.
Yeah, I personally think that... Hey, do you guys hear something?
Everyone turned to see a screaming mini tornado flying towards them. As it got closer, it eventually slowed down and stopped in front of them, revealing none other than a very dizzy Trixie. She had been hogtied with an apple stuffed into her mouth, and her mane had been turned into a green piled-up mess with twigs and a few berries caught in it, along with a couple of mouse tails sticking out of it, resembling a rat's nest. VampDash and Discord immediately lost it.
Irony! Beautiful irony!
They laughed as Trixie started hobble-hopping away.
Okay, I think Twilight might have a chance to win.
Pinkie said as Twilight's score changed to 37. Back at Sweet Apple Acres, Applebloom snickered as she exited the farm, a dripping wet Applejack right behind her.
Seriously, sis? The water bucket over the doorway trick? I don't know whether to be embarrassed or insulted. That's all you can come up with? You thought I fought for that?
Yeah, well, that was only step 1.
Applejack said with a smile.
I'm gonna have to take things up a notch for Big Mac, you know.
Applebloom rolled her eyes as they made their way across the fields.
Right, 'cause Big Mac is totally the pranking type. Honestly, sis, you need to make your lies more convincing.
Well, I got that fixed. I ain't talking.
Applejack said with a smirk on her face.
I need your help with it.
And what would that be?
Applebloom stopped when she noticed something.
Big sis, your hoof is sinking into the dirt!
It is?
AJ said as she looked down at the hoof. And yes, it was indeed sinking into the dirt. She tried to pull it out, only to get pulled downward as a result.
What in tarnet?
Suddenly, a dirt-covered face shot out of the ground and screamed into Applejack's face. Applejack and Bloom screamed as Jack started going backwards and stumbled over herself. They soon managed to get away while Big Mac just laughed his head off.
Oh, ha ha! Real funny, Big Mac!
Applebloom sneered before she broke into a fit of giggles herself.
Seriously, how long were you buried there?
Long enough, eh?
Big Mac chuckled as he picked himself out of the mud.
Oh, that was worth it.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Spike chanted as he paced back and forth in the front door of the Carousel Boutique, holding a baseball bat.
I thank you again, Spiky Wikey,
Rarity said as she opened her door slightly ajar.
I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am.
No worries, Rarity. Spike smiled, giving her a salute.
After all, I can't have anyone pulling any pranks that'll mess up your luxurious mane.
Are you, Boutique? He quickly added with a blush before resuming his guard duty.
Of course, dear. I'll wait for you inside,
Rarity said as she closed the door and smiled at her protector. Spike sighed dreamily as he marched back and forth. Nothing would get by him. Nothing!
Hey, Spike!
Starlight called out as she approached the dragon.
Back off!
Spike shouted as he swung his bat at her.
You're not fooling me! I know what today is! Get back, you clever-minded witch!
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Starlight shouted as she quickly yanked the bat out of his grasp.
I'll give you clever-minded, but witch? What's your deal?
I'm not letting you prank my maiden!
Spike shouted as he pulled out another bat from out of nowhere.
Where did you even... Hey!
The unicorn yelped as she avoided another swing.
Look, I'm just trying to... hide from... Stop that! Twilight!
A likely story? And why should I believe you?
Starlight Glimmer, where the buck are you?
Twilight's enraged voice echoed throughout the village.
Okay, so get inside for a few hours?
Starlight said with her eyes widened.
I mean, Twilight is not sane when she's ticked off.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's a good idea. Starlight, let's go!
Starlight and Spike darted into Carousel Boutique and slammed the door shut. Outside, Twilight's enraged stomps could be heard passing the establishment. Soon, the stomping ended and vanished.
I think she's gone,
Starlight whispered as she gulped, fearing for her personal safety.
Whew, thanks, Celestia.
Starlight sighed as she glanced out the window.
I better get moving before she comes back.
Actually,
Rarity called out, getting both of their attention.
I was wondering if you could help me with a little project I've been working on.
Oh, well, I don't see why I can't,
Starlight said as she walked over, Spike smiling behind her back.
Perfect!
The fashionista smiled as she pulled out two surprisingly familiar articles of clothing, Trixie's wizard hat and cape. Starlight arched a brow.
Why do you have...
Simply put, Trixie looked like she was running her outfit ragged. I simply want to help improve it for her,
Rarity said with a small smile.
I guess I kinda owe her for leaving her alone with Twilight,
she mumbled as she trotted towards her.
So, what do you need me to do?
Just put it on. I've been using this lush new fabric that's known to be as smooth as a well-fluffed cloud,
Rarity explained as she fastened the cape around Starlight's neck.
Well, it does feel nice, I have to admit. I think she'll really enjoy the cape, Rarity.
Oh, but that's not all. Try on the hat,
Rarity said as she placed the hat on Starlight's head.
Yeah, I'll admit it's very comfy.
Starlight smiled, unconsciously scratching her back, not noticing Spike snickering behind her.
I think you could make one for me.
She stopped and scratched her back again, and then started scratching all over her body.
Why does my body itch so much?
Oh, well, Rarity might have slipped in some itching powder. And cast a spell that makes the clothing really hard to pull off. Enjoy the itch story!
At those last words, Spike burst out laughing, unable to stop. Starlight's eyes widened as she glared at Rarity, who was trying her best to stifle a laugh.
Nothing personal, darling. April Foals and all that. Now you better get home and wash that off, lest the itching lasts for a week.
I'll get back at you. I'll do it and you'll never see it coming. Mark my words.
Starlight growled as she left the boutique in a huff, only to find her face to face with Trixie, who was still tied up with an apple in her mouth, giving her a You owe me big time, Glare. Twilight growled in anger as she stormed through the town, looking for the 2 unicorns.
Oh, when I get my hooves on those 2, I'm gonna...
And then she had an idea. An awful idea. Twilight Sparkle had a wonderfully awful idea. With a malicious smile, she rubbed her hoofs together as a dark chuckle escaped her lips.
Oh, Discord, when I'm done with my prank, they'll have to rewrite the book on chaos!
She cackled evilly as she teleported away. Back at Vinyl's house, Octavia was waiting inside the kitchen as Vinyl was brewing some coffee.
I'm warning you right now. If you put anything in my drink, I'm never speaking to you again.
I promise. I'm not putting anything in your drink, Vinyl said as she finished up the coffee and brought out her breakfast to her. See? Nothing. Octavia gave her an amused look as she took a sip of her coffee and immediately glared out the window.
Derpy, I can see you out there. You're not fooling anyone,
she shouted, prompting Vinyl to turn to the window as well. Right outside was odd-eyed Pegasus carrying a box that was labeled Not Fire Ants while wearing a ninja outfit.
Darn it!
Derpy shouted as she zipped off. Should have been more careful, Derpy, Vinyl said with a chuckle. As she continued to eat, however, she started to feel slightly queasy and her stomach began to rumble. That's weird. Pretty sure I used the usual recipe for this stuff. Why do I feel so...
Oh, that would be the small batch of laxatives I slipped into your drink while you were distracted by Derpy,
Octavia explained, giving her a rather devious smirk. Are you kidding me? Excuse me, Octi, while I go take a shit. I gotta run! Vinyl shouted as she ran to the bathroom.
Consider this payback for what you did to me in the shower,
Octavia called out as she pulled out a box and trotted to the door, where Derpy was waiting outside.
Thanks for the distraction. Here's your payment.
She smiled, opening the box to reveal a batch of freshly baked muffins.
Yay!
Derpy said as she grabbed them and flew off towards a private place to eat the rest of the muffins.
Octavia, you monster! It wasn't enough that you gave me the runs, but you had to put super glue on the seat too?
Octavia blinked in surprise before running upstairs. She hadn't even considered pulling a prank like that.
But if I didn't do it, then who?
Not too far from their house, Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon cackled evilly as they walked away, giving each other a hoof bump as Vinyl's screams echoed throughout the area.
Oh, Di, you're so evil. I mean, supergluing her to the seat? Genius!
As the 2 foals made their way back to Ponyville, however, they noticed that a few parts of the town had ended up wrecked or covered in some sort of prank aftermath. Rumble was pulling his brother Thunderlane out of a mailbox covered in cake batter. Cranky was storming through the streets with a rainbow wig glued to his head while his wife accompanied him, trying her best not to laugh. And Button Mesh seemed to be pulling himself free of a giant glob of bubblegum.
You know, I'm starting to think we might have to step up our game a little,
Silver said as she watched Dr. Hooves fleeing from Berry Punch, who was addressed as a pear for some reason.
You're right. Seriously, we have nothing to top half this stuff.
Let's think. What would be a good prank to put us back on top?
Silver mused as she looked around, only to notice a familiar orange Pegasus rushing towards them on her scooter.
Hey, Diamond! Silver!
Scootaloo called out as she screeched to a halt just before getting them.
You two are not going to believe what the girls and I found! What? What did you find? Just come on! It's really neat!
Scootaloo said as she grabbed the two and pushed them into the wagon attached to her scooter and quickly sped off. After a few minutes of riding and avoiding a few messes here and there, they ended up fighting Applebloom and Sweetie Belle standing in front of what looked like a heart-shaped box the size of a wagon.
What is this?
Diamond asked as she and Silver got off the wagon, eyeing the item curiously.
Seriously? It's way too obvious. Beats me. All we know is that it was addressed to you from some secret admirer. Looks like you caught some pony's eye.
Sweetie Belle giggled, giving Diamond a playful nudge while Applebloom opened the box, revealing several delicious-looking chocolates, each one with Diamond Tiara's cutie mark on them. The two former bullies shared a knowing glance before turning their attention to the three.
You eat them.
What? Why? They're obviously for you. We want you to eat them and prove it's not a trick.
Oh, come on! If this was a trick, it would be less obvious than this.
Applebloom scoffed as she took out one of the chocolates and took a bite out of it without hesitation. Her fellow Crusaders immediately followed suit.
Caramel filling!
Well, they have a point.
Silver said as she grabbed a chocolate. Diamond snorted but ate one as well.
Whatever. I'm gonna eat one. Let's see how this one is.
Interesting taste, Diamond mused as she continued to chew.
But I can't place the flavor.
Oh, that's simple. It's poison joke filling! What?
Silver Spoon gasped as Diamond immediately started spitting out the pieces she hadn't swallowed.
But we saw you eat them!
She began, only to notice that each chocolate had their cutie marks on them, except the ones they'd eaten.
You sneaky little April Fools!
The trio laughed as they quickly ran off, only to trip over each other and fall into a small box full of leftover poison joke. As Celestia's sun began to set over the horizon, several ponies began to gather around the town hall as a large timer appeared above the judge's booth, slowly counting down the seconds until April Fool's Day came to an end.
Ladies and gentlekos, and Dragon, April Fool's Day is slowly but surely coming to an end. I have to say, I haven't seen this much chaos in Ponyville since, I don't know, last week maybe?
Aw, you make me blush,
Discord said, with blinking puppy dog eyes.
Yeah, but at least we didn't cause several cotton candy clouds filled with 7 days old chocolate milk! I had to clean my house twice, you overgrown lizard!
Rainbow started shouting before calming herself down.
Now, Dashi, let's not dwell on the past. After all, it is supposed to be a day of fun and comedy, remember? And with the timer slowly but surely counting down to 0, every pony is trying to pull a prank before time runs out!
Oh yeah, that's right!
Rainbow said, as she pointed to the timer with her wing.
So whoever thinks they can pull off an epic prank, you better do so quickly!
The God of Chaos simply chuckled as he gleefully watched more chaos unfold. Vinyl was chasing Octavia, with an unhinged toilet seat stuck to her rear. Snips and Snails were stuck together and still covered in feathers, and Starlight was trying to free Trixie while constantly scratching herself.
Indeed, Pinkie Pie. But while we wait, let's check the scoreboard, shall we?
Discord smiled as he snapped his fingers, summing up the scoreboard. Cheerily, 5. Thunderlane, 10. Rumble, 13. Spike, 15. Dr. Hooves, 17. Big Mac, 20. Berry Punch, 24. Button Mash, 25. Rarity, 27. Applejack, 30. Lyra and Bonbon, 35. Trixie and Starlight Glimmer, 36. Mr. and Mrs. Cake, 38. Vinyl Scratch, 45. Octavia, 48. Twilight Sparkle, 51. Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon, 69. Fluttershy, 75. Derpy Hooves, 77. Cutie Mark Crusaders, 85.
And it looks like the Cutie Mark Crusaders are heavily in the lead, with Derpy and Fluttershy not too far behind. Wow, folks, we really gotta work hard to keep up with the rest of them.
Pinkie said with a few happy jumps.
Well, considering all the weird stuff they got into over the years, the fact that they got the lead score is almost expected.
Rainbow smirked as she glanced at the Crusaders, who were fleeing from Silver Spoon, who was now a colt carrying a doll-sized diamond tiara. However, Scootaloo's body was now one giant hoof that she was hopping on. Applebloom was some kind of weird hairless monkey, and Sweetie Belle was just a white mini version of the Smooths. As they observed the gathering crowd, there was a sudden flash of lavender light as Twilight teleported in front of the 3 judges with a proud expression.
I did it! I did it! I pulled the best prank!
Oh, do you now?
Discord asked mischievously as Rainbow and Pinkie leaned over the desk curiously.
And what, pray tell, was this ultimate prank?
Twilight simply smirked as she summoned a square-shaped screen, revealing the interior of Canterlot Castle. More specifically, the throne room.
Why? Why has my beloved tasty treat forsaken me? Why?
Celestia cried as she fended off a giant cake that seemed to be trying to hurl itself at her like a missile. Behind her, Luna was blasting away several pies that were very intent on making acquaintances with her face, and judging by the various mashed fruits stuck to her face, a few had succeeded. Discord just busted out laughing at the sight before him.
This is obviously the greatest prank ever created!
He laughed as he snapped his talons, turning her score from 51 to 100. Pinkie took the time to pick her jaw up off the floor as she and Rainbow stared at the spectacle before them.
Yep, and the best part of all is that Discord did it!
Twilight said quickly before teleporting away. Everyone else but the stunned Discord left in a fast hurry as both Celestia and Luna turned towards him with angry glares. Then the God of Chaos realized that it wasn't a viewing screen, but a portal.
Hi, girls? Now, I know this looks like my doing, but...
He screamed in terror as he was dragged into the portal by the angry alicorns.
Pick a body part, Luna.
Dibs on the solar plexus!
No, wait! I'm allergic to pain! No! Oh, the pain! Oh, the agonizing pain! I think I'm dying! Oh, what a world! What a world!
Twilight just laughed as she saw several magic explosions that likely rocked Discord's world, figuratively and literally. But soon she slowly calmed down.
Oh man, that was awesome!
Rainbow gasped as she held Fluttershy for support.
You pranked the God of Chaos!
Yeah, there.
Pinkie giggled as she pointed to the timer, while Twilight's score went up to 500. Most of the civilians genuinely applauded her actions. Twilight chuckled as she looked around.
Where's Spike? Is he still defending Rarity?
Right here, Twi, Spike sighed as he pushed his way out of the crowd. Nice to know you managed to pull a fast one on Discord.
Is something wrong, Spike?
Twilight asked as she hurried over to him.
Spike, did I say something?
It's just... well, I only really gotten a few measly points. While most of our friends got a ton of points. He groaned as he sat down next to Twilight.
Oh, Spike,
Twilight said as she hugged him.
I know how frustrating this must be for you, but you're a winner in my book.
Spike looked up at his big sister figure with a smile. Thanks, Twi. I needed that. He wiped away a small tear from his eyes. Hey, for what it's worth, I think you really earned this victory, the young dragon said, offering his claw to Twilight for a hoof shake.
Aw, thank you, Spike.
Twilight said with a smile as she shook his claw. And was zapped by Hidden Joy Buzzer. The lavender alicorn screeched as she was zapped before yanking her hoof away.
But you...
April Fools! Spike laughed as the timer reached 0. Everyone just stared in absolute shock as the little dragon started cheering. I did it! I actually did it! I'm the greatest prankster of all time!
But you didn't! I mean, you can't just...
Twilight stuttered as she turned to the scoreboard, only to see that Spike's was now 550. Infuriated, she turned to the 2 remaining judges.
How?
You had the highest score, and there were a few seconds left. It's legit,
Rainbow said, trying to stifle a big laugh.
Maybe you should have been more careful, Twi. That was the easiest prank in the book, but he gotcha.
Pinkie happily pulled out what looked like an odd combination of a crown and a jester hat.
For winning the first annual April Foals competition, I hereby crown you the Prankster King!
Twilight could only watch as the remaining ponies tossed Spike up into the air, happily chanting Prankster King over and over.
Prankster King! Prankster King! Prankster King! Prankster King!
I love protecting the Empire, and my home's nice. Faust above, I love warm winter.
Flash said as the train stopped at Ponyville.
Tell me about it.
Sunburst sighed as the 2 exited the train.
Yeah, I mean, whoa.
The unicorn blinked when he noticed how the wrecked state Ponyville was in. Several civilians either cleaned up or cleaned themselves off.
What happened here?
You think a prank war happened here? Ugh.
Flash asked as he stepped over some gunk from a flying pie.
If so, then Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie have really outdone themselves this time. Wait, did you hear that?
Sunburst asked as he started looking around, the distant sound of someone screaming catching his ears.
Yeah! He's mine!
Twilight screamed as she suddenly landed between the 2 and hugged Flash tightly while glaring at Sunburst.
Husband, oh thief!
The lavender mare screamed before teleporting away with the confused Pegasus.
What just happened?
Now that the story has ended, what shall we say, guys?
April Fools!
I do get my paycheck at the end, right?
Nope.
Wait, I don't get paid for this?
Nope.
Well, what kind of voice drama thing, fanfic bullcrap is that?
That's all, folks. See you next time. We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. A full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other mare. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gonna make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you.
But in all seriousness, let's face it, none of you are going to take this seriously. I've decided to I've decided to learn how to get this fucking line right. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. This watch is meant to fuck. Yes, this watch is meant to fuck, and it will fuck your ass. Okay, I'm done. Damn, Discord! You created a watch to fuck. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's Gucci. Woo! This is obviously the greatest prank ever created. Okay. Woo, okay, breathe, drumstick, breathe.
Little giant slingshot. Nah, that sounds like fucking Snips right there. Oh, right. Like, yeah, like that makes more sense, Snips. Like, you know, fuck you.
Fuck me! Fuck you!
Oh my god!
I think you're only just mad because I got an episode that make me look good, while you just still look the same.
Hey! Well, I don't need a character development anyway, even though a lot of characters seem to get that, including, you know, Garble, Diamond Tiara. Actually, why is it that I didn't get shit? You know what? Forget, the character development. Fuck that. I'm gonna stick with doing my business. Yeah.
However, before she could answer, the present started to shake as it started to expand outwards. Every pony took several steps back as it continued to swell and rumble. The townspeople braced themselves for the worst. Wow, phone. Okay then. Fuck yeah, that was just perfect freaking timing right there. Fuck yeah. Okay, I'm gonna keep this. Nah, it's gonna be the bloopers. I'm gonna try that fucking thing again. Back off! Spike shouted as she swung. Spike is a frickin' dude, me. Fluffy, you gotta get your fucking genders right, okay? Okay? Okay. Unless it's like Rule 63, then
But that's not the fucking case, okay?
let me try that again.
I was wondering if you can... what kind of accent am I doing? Like, it's just sort of British. I can't even. And of course, I'm slipping into Scribbler. I'm slipping into Scribbler's voice, so to speak.
What the hell is this accent? I have no fucking idea. No fucking idea. Then it turned in slowly into Scribbler Productions, and of course, a lot of people are going to be freaking out. So, let me try that again.
Just put it on. I've been using. Rarity, can you get your words right? Get your English.
Oh, excuse me. Holy shit, balls. I am. Excuse me. Damn. I just got back and I got some water. Let me try that again. Vinyl was chasing Octavia with an unhinged toilet seat stuck to his rear. Again, I gotta make sure that I get the fucking genders right. Fluffy, when will you learn? Celestia cried as she fended off a giant cake that seemed to be trying to hurt. Excuse me. Shit. I don't know if that caught on the microphone, but damn, that was a fart. I was trying to narrate, and then the freaking fart happened. The unicorn blinked when he noticed how the wrecked state of Ponyville. Ponyville is not a steak. It's not a flank steak. Come on. Are you serious? I call Ponyville a piece of fucking steak. The wrecked steak Ponyville. Please, Fluffy, read your goddamn line right, okay? Hey, I gotta try that again. The unicorn blinked when he noticed how the wrecked state of wrecked state Ponyville was in. The wrecked state Ponyville was in. I need to get my line right. Please, I need to do this fucking line again.